to share her ASEA difference story, one of our own associates. Please welcome Gold Executive from Hendersonville, Tennessee, Pepper Black.
Before I begin, I just want to mention that last night when I was walking around and I was seeing all these beautiful women in their gorgeous dresses and these good-looking men in their awesome suits, I'm thinking, we are such a beautiful company. Keep taking your ASEA. In 2012, Terry Latham called me and asked me to be a part of something that he thought was going to be big. He didn't know when he called me that I was physically very ill. I was spending about 17 hours in bed every single day, and I was financially terminal. By January, the end of January, my 17 hours a day in bed turned to about 6 hours in bed, and I was on fire and ready to take this to the top. My first year, I went bronze, 2013. My second year, I went gold, and I was a solid gold in 2014, and I was ready for 2015. Could not wait for 2015. December 2014, I met my amazing husband. I know you've all seen him, and I thought life was falling together. Trish Winkler came out in January, and she started our year out with a meeting of about 60 people. Energy was high. Everything was going good. February, Jamie and I were in Cancun, Mexico. By March, I was so excited. I went to California and worked with Dr. Raz's team. Once again, energy was high, and this was my year to go diamond. I was absolutely sure of it. April 2nd, Jamie asked me to marry him. April 3rd, we got married, and it was the happiest day of my life. Yep. So I was happy for one day, because the next day, I had no idea that my life was literally going to fall apart. It was totally going to change for me and my kids. Over the next 4 months, I was in court 7 different times. My children, each one of them at 2 different times, were in the emergency room throwing up an IBS, having to have IV fluids poured into them because of the stress in their lives. Last year, from April to basically December, our world fell apart. But I'm going to tell you something that didn't fall apart. Things might have been hard on a personal level, but on a financial level, not at all. My solid gold business kept on growing, and my finances didn't stop. If I had been in a traditional business, if I had been working out in the world, I promise you I would have lost my job. But the really cool thing is, ASEA did not fire me. In fact, they kept on sending that check every Friday. I kept getting a deposit into my account. Not only that, they paid me over $9,000 in the executive bonus. You know, for someone who many days couldn't get out of bed, couldn't talk herself into positivity, no matter how many charge-up calls that I could do to charge everybody else up, my world was falling apart. But my financial world stayed strong. So I want to leave you guys with this. And this is really important because I've talked to a lot of people today that come up to me and say, I love your charge-up calls the best because you're real. I love it because you tell it like it is and you just touch our hearts. And I hope that I'm doing that always. I want to always keep it real. So I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to keep it real again. If you're here for the first time, or if you've been with the company for 5 years and you're still Director 700, you haven't hit bronze, you're just, I'm going to tell you, the only people in this industry that don't make it are the ones that quit. Okay? If you treat this business like a hobby, it's going to cost you money. If you give it the honor and the respect that it deserves, okay? You treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business even when you can't work. Take this and let's go. What'd you say, Denny? This is only the beginning. Thank you.
To share their ASEA difference story, please welcome from Sunshine Coast, Australia, Cheryl Penrose and her son, Nick.
Hi, everybody. I'd just like to tell you a little bit about where we were before we got into this business. We were hand to mouth. We were fairly strapped, paycheck to paycheck, I'm not saying we were broke, we managed to live, and we had nice little things sometimes, but not all the time. And I guess we were tired of it. We had one income. My husband works full-time, David, and you would have seen David's photo up. Unfortunately, he's gotten a tummy bug and he's not feeling too bright. So I brought my son to give me a little bit to keep me going, just in case I freeze. So we were looking. I had been with another direct sales company and done relatively well, and we were looking. But when our sponsors gave us a call, my husband said no, not interested. They called again a couple of months later and they got him again, and he said no, I'm not interested. The third time they got smarter and they got me. And I said, this sounds really great, I'm in. And that's where it went. We promptly went on holidays and didn't do anything. We got in December 2014. We didn't do anything, we went on holidays. We came back. February, I was blessed enough to do a fly-in over to Salt Lake City, and that convinced me that what I had my hands on was much, much more than a business. I came back for convention in May, and I desperately wanted to prove myself, so we went silver to go over the stage at silver. Now, it all sounds pretty exciting and amazing, but then something happened. The growth of the business was outpacing the growth of me. And for a few months, the wheels fell off, really. I just sat at home and blubbered a little bit and, had a big cry about how I wasn't able to do this. We then got sponsored. This is where this business comes into its own. Our sponsors, our upline, just all gathered around us like a family and just helped us through that. So we finally crawled through the other end of that little black tunnel, and we decided it's probably time to start working again, and we went gold. I think it may have been just before convention in Australia for February. Once again, we had a motivation. We can't go over the stage as silver, we have to do this as gold. So that's where that came in. And I thought, oh golly, it's just going to be a once-off, we're never going to get paid at gold. But we kept working, and guess what? We kept getting paid at gold. So that qualified us for Ascent, which we're very excited about. How it's changed our lives is we're travelling, we're doing wonderful things. I have met some amazing people, and I've really gathered some fantastic friendships. And I'm just very blessed. Thank you, ASEA. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here to share her ASEA different story, please welcome to the stage one of our own gold executives from Pipersville, Pennsylvania, Anita Melograno.
Good morning, ASEA family. I found myself in 2012 tied to a desk, semi-retired, working, earning a living, but I hadn't had a horse in about 15 years because I couldn't ride. I couldn't ride anymore. And it usually is a little emotional to say this, but I'll try not to cry. So I started really feeling better, and I got to the point where I said, what I really want to continue doing with my life is rescuing animals. Besides dogs and cats, what I needed was a slush fund to be able to rescue horses, because that's really what I love to do. And my last horse was a rescue. I gave him up 15 years ago because I couldn't ride him anymore, and he was very useful. And it was about December this past year, I bought my dream horse. I noticed her name. It was I'm a Powerful Chick, and that just said that's my horse. So I needed to have her. So she's going to be my broodmare, and I will ride her and train her before I do that. But her first baby will be called I Am ASEA. What else would I name her? And Monday I rescued my first horse. She's a 17-year-old Arabian mare who had been sent to a kill shelter, was emaciated, and her name was Stormy when she came to my house, to my farm. And we renamed her Sky because we thought that was a lot more optimistic than Stormy. So the biggest thing that the opportunity ASEA has really given me is not being tied to my desk and being able to take care of my 95-year-old mother, which, you know, she lives in an over 62 community, and she needs a little more now than she did 4 years ago. She's doing very well, but she needs me there 3-4 days a week, and this lets me do that because all I need is my phone. So thank you, everybody.
I'm very happy to call on stage our new platinum from Norway, Sissel Andersen. How are you doing?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous. See,
But
we got something in common here.
Yeah.
Sissel, let me ask you a question. I know that you have just started ASEA full time. What has triggered you to focus 100% on ASEA?
Well, my background is from sales and marketing for more than 30 years. And the job I was in when I took the decision, I was marketing workwear for handcrafters. And to be honest, when I started to realize what ASEA and the products are doing with people, it didn't make any sense for me to market workwear anymore, because it didn't matter if people, it doesn't really matter if people use this jeans or this jacket or this jacket in order to do their handcraft, if they don't have their health. So when I saw what these unique, amazing products did, I thought, well, if I'm going to jump one time in my life, I will do it now. So I just made a decision. It's time, like we were told. So it's approximately 1 year ago I decided that I wanted to do ASEA full-time, and I have done ASEA full-time since September 1st last year, and I haven't regretted one single time. So it's, of course, it's very scary to do to make a commitment like that, but also it makes you have to do something. When you are burning all the bridges, you don't have any options. So I was going to give it until New Year, and then I would reconsider what I was going to do. But I mean, this is just going. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. How did ASEA change your lifestyle? Can you talk about this a little bit to the audience?
Yeah. So far, I have reached my old salary, and of course, we all need money, and I did that pretty quick. So for the life changes financially has not been that very big yet, but I see the future is very, very bright, and I'm on an climbing ladder all the time. So I see that every week, every month gets better and better and better and better. But what it has done more is that I can, for instance, we could come here last Thursday and we could stay here for a week before the convention. And I could work a little bit from here and still have vacation. And that's a very good thing for me to be able to do. If I had my old job, I couldn't leave whenever I wanted. I couldn't go wherever I like, because I needed to get a permission from my boss first, and then I could travel. So that's one of the things.
So you feel more freedom?
Yeah,
Is that what
much
you
more
feel?
freedom.
Much
Yeah.
more freedom. Well, thank you very much for sharing your life a little bit with us today. Thank you very much.